Rabbi Yoel was obviously the main chazer, but there were other people who helped by Chazara also. And at one point, this was Shabbos Parshas B'Shalach Tovshin Chavov, that the Rebbe actually appointed some Bochurim to become official helpers in Chazara. Let's call them Chazrim, to help in Chazara. I once told this over Proteus, but now I'm going to repeat it again because we're talking about Rabbi Yoel, and this is something that's negated to Rabbi Yoel. And also I will repeat it with a few more details that I reminded myself that I didn't remember last time when I told this. The few Bochurim of us were sitting in 770 Yud Shvat at night, Tovshin Chavov, which means the first night of Yud Shvat. The second night, the night after Yud Shvat, was the big Farbrengen of the Rebbe. But the night before, Bochurim were Farbrengen or learning Mishnayos. So we were sitting, a few Bochurim were sitting and learning Mishnayos. Mishnayos for the name of the Friedrich Rebbe. Rabbi Yoel Klein sees us. He says, "Oh, I'm looking for you. Punkt you I need. Rabbi Chadakov wants to speak to you." So we really got nervous because when we knew that when Rabbi Chadakov calls you, it's something from the Rebbe. So what could he want? What could he want from us? So we went into Rabbi Chadakov, and he said like this: the Rebbe asked if you're willing to accept upon yourself to help more in Chazara, which means to become Chazrim. And the Rebbe wants to know if you're maskim. So we answered, certainly we're maskim. Then he said to us, but you know the achrayas that's there. So we said, we know. And we said, we're maskim. So that's the last thing that we heard at that night. The next night was the big Farbrengen of Yud Shvat. The day after, we got a message. I think it was Rabbi Klein that told us, maybe Rabbi Chadakov himself, I think it was Rabbi Klein that told us that the Rebbe asked, why didn't you Bochurim go up the middle of the Farbrengen to the Rebbe to say l'chaim for this new appointment that you got, a new position that you got. The four Bochurim actually were Reb Ephraim Pekarsky, Reb Shlomo Zarcha, Reb Shorim Bar Levitin, and myself. And he asked, why didn't you go up? And therefore the Rebbe said, since you didn't go up Yud Shvat, you should go up to say l'chaim to the Bimah, to the Rebbe, on Shabbos, because there will be a Farbrengen Shabbos after Yud Shvat, you should go up. So Shabbos, after the third Sikha was the Sikha Kam Maimer. After that, so these four Bochurim went up to the Bimeh with l'chaim in their hands to say l'chaim to the Rebbe. To say l'chaim for this new position that they got. So when the Bochurim came over, Rabbi Chadakov from his place was sitting on the other side. We came over from the Rebbe's right-hand side. And Rabbi Chadakov was sitting on the other side. He gets up and wanted to tell the Rebbe why they're coming to say l'chaim. And this is what he said. They're coming, he started to sing, they're coming to say, and the Rebbe stopped him, and the Rebbe said, Zoln ze allein zogen. Let them say themselves. And he asked the first one, we were standing in line, he asked the first one, Vos, what is it? The Rebbe wanted actually that each Bocher should say it, push it with his mouth. So he made himself like he doesn't know what. That's what he said, Vos, what are you coming here for? So the Bocher answered, Menem zachon helfen. So the Rebbe said, helfen Vos. He answered, we're taking upon ourselves to help. So the Rebbe asked, helping what? So he said, helfen Chazara to help Chazara. And the Rebbe answered, B'hatzlocha Rabba, I think l'chaim v'levrocha, and he said, B'hatzlocha Rabba. Then he asked the second one, do eichet, you too? And he answered yes. Then he asked the third one, and you too? And the same, he went to the fourth. And then the Rebbe, after we finished saying l'chaim, we moved away and we came back to our place. Our place was on the right side of the Rebbe. Rabbi Yoel's place was on the other side. So the Rebbe turns around to Rabbi Yoel and he says, while he's speaking to him and he's looking at the side of the Bochurim, but he's speaking to him, and then he turned back to him and he said that we should all say l'chaim together. He looked at Rabbi Yoel and looked at us and he said, now all of you together say l'chaim. So whenever we wanted to say l'chaim together, the Rebbe says to Rabbi Yoel, Oder du geh zu sei, oder sie sollen kommen zu dir. Or you come to them, or they should come to you. So Rabbi Yoel got up from his place, which was on the left side of the Rebbe, to come to our side of the Bochurim. So the Rebbe said, was darfst du abgehen zu sei, sollen sie nisala werden zu dir. Why do you have to come down to them? Let they get elevated to you. And he used the Loshen, Ba'aliyosen shel bailam. It's a Loshen in Gemara where it says, Ba'aliyosen shel bailam, which means this is Dali, let them go up to your darga rather than you coming down to them. So the four Bochurim went from their place and went to the other side to stand next to Rabbi Yoel. And now they wanted to say l'chaim because the Rebbe had said that they should say l'chaim together. And then when we went to Rabbi Yoel, now we were saying l'chaim to the Rebbe. So when we started saying l'chaim to the Rebbe, so the Rebbe showed with his hands that you should be on a full big cup. Like this, everyone said l'chaim on a little kelishik of wine. And here the Rebbe showed that everyone should say l'chaim on a big kos. So all the Bochurim said l'chaim, including Rabbi Yoel. After the next sikha, this was sikha, third sikha. After the third sikha, after the fourth sikha, so Reb Shmuel Levitin, who was the grandfather of one of the Bochurim of Reb Shalom Ber Levitin, said to the Rebbe something which I couldn't hear really, and the Rebbe said to him, Chassidish Nachas. Like he gave him a bracha of Chassidish Nachas. And then the Rebbe said that the parents of these four Bochurim should say l'chaim, those that are there. And he turned around to Reb Shalom Ber Levitin's father, Reb Yamin Levitin, and he showed him that he should say l'chaim also on a big cup. And then he looked around. My father wasn't there because we lived in Cleveland, so my father was in Cleveland. Rabbi Yizarch, his father, wasn't there also for some reason. He happened not to be there. So, and the Shalom Ber Levitin's father said l'chaim, and then the Rebbe looked at Rebbe Ephraim Pekarsky's father, Rebbe Michol Pekarsky, and he was sitting on the middle, on the bottom, in the middle table. And the Rebbe saw him, and the Rebbe showed him to say l'chaim, and the Rebbe says to him, your son is also amongst them. The power of the son is stronger than the power of the father. And it happens to be that in that same Fabrengen, in the Sikha before, the Rebbe mentioned this Maimer Chazal, and the Rebbe teach what it says in Chassidus. Poshup Pshat is Yofe Keach Haben Keach Hav means that the Keach, the power of the son, is stronger, better than the father. But Chassidus says, Yofe Keach Haben Mi Keach Hav. Even this that the son is better than the father also comes because of the father, comes from the Keach and the father, as it's explained in Chassidus. So when he said to him out loud, he said like across the room, not mamish across the room, but he was sitting down. He said, these are the words he said, and I'll repeat it again. Your son is also amongst them. So he also said l'chaim. And Take, from then on, we started, more helping in the Chazara of the Fabrengens. And also, not long after that, it evolved that the Bochurim started writing the Hanochas, calling it Hanochas Atmimim, started writing the Hanochas because Hanochas haven't been coming out then, started writing Hanochas Atmimim, and this is all because of what the Rebbe did, that Shabbos Parashat B'Shalach, Tov Shin Chovov. And this was a great help to Rabbi Yoel. And I don't know for sure, but it seems like that the reason the Rebbe did it is because Rabbi Yoel wrote to the Rebbe that he's so many things on his head that if he could have help. And the Rebbe said, okay, I'll be maman a certain Bochurim to help. And that's when this happened. But that I can't say for sure. That's what the rumor was. I didn't hear it directly, so I don't know. Rabbi Yoel didn't say it to us. At least to me, he didn't say it. But that's what I heard, that he wrote to the Rebbe, and this is the Rebbe answered, yes, he's going to be man a certain Bochurim to help. And that happened that Shabbos.